this juncture, we have the opportunity to learn more about the initiatives and contributions of the younger generation to wetland conservation. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Takuma Sato of Youth Ramsar Japan, will share with us the highlights of the AWS Youth Session held last July 3. Let us all welcome Mr. Takuma.
Thank you very much introduction. Hello everyone. I'm Takuma Sato from Youth Ramsar Japan. First of all, thank you for the opportunity for the session, the holding in youth session on the AWS, and the opportunities for such as a presentation. A youth session was held on Saturday, prior to the AWS plenary session. This is the take a picture on the first. So firstly, I will explain about the outline of the session. The theme of youth session is youth action for future wetlands based on past and current wetland situation. So we, the youth generation, are just between children and adults. And we are the only generation that closely linked is a generation. And I think that it is the existence that connect the time that adults have worked and that time that children will work in the future. So it is a young generation who learn from the past and look at the current and makes it in the future. So this is the reason why I focused on the past, current, and the future of this theme. Furthermore, so this year marks the 50th anniversary of the Ramsar Convention. So this is meaningful to look back at the past and the current to the future in this year. On the AWS youth session, so more than 40 youth participated, and 8 presentations were given from the 5 countries. First, a past and current presentation of each wetland and presenters were given, and then move to the discussion. 2 themes were discussed, one of which how to create connection where the passionate youth can share their knowledge and experience. And this AWS youth session is very connected from the AWS 2017. The AWS 2017 held in Japan, and that was the first youth session managed by youth. And in the saga statement that prepared at the end of the AWS, it mentioned about expected that the youth would take leadership in the AWS continuously in future. So this is a big reason for the holding youth session in this AWS. The presentation part. So presentation were given from the 5 countries. The Cambodia and Sri Lanka were attended by the youth group and the group presentation. In this presentation, I asked them to bring something that showed the wetlands of the past and compare the past with the current. I would like to introduce some interesting presentation on the youth session. So Dari Sher from the Philippines provided a 1899 photo of the Laguna de Bay in the Philippines. She introduced that the wise use of the fisheries have been practiced for more than 100 years, and that it is now being used various ways such as fishing, recreation, and transport routes. And next, Orukayu from Hong Kong introduced about the fish pond. That is the history of the fish pond on the Maipo. He mentioned about through the map like this. And then so he introduced about the conservation activities that started in the 1960s. So were connected that were connected. Now it is the various fields such as conservation, education, and training. And from the Sri Lanka presentation group introduced about Colombo Marsh in the Colombo. So they interviewed people who actually knew the time to learn about the wetlands 50 years ago. Please see this video.
පහෙන් එකක් පමණ තමයි එදා ජනගහනය. ඒක වැඩි ප්‍රදේශයක් වගුරු බිම් උනාට කුඹුරු ගොවිතැන් කළා. ඒ පාරේ මයි පාරේ ඉන්නේ මම තමයි පැරණියෙන් පදිංචි කරන්නේ. ඉන්න කවුරුවක්වත් නැහැ. ඉතින් මහකන්නේ වර්ෂාව කියන්නේ නිතදිග මෝසම් සුලංකාරයට වැඩි වර්ෂාපතනයක් මේකට ලැබෙනවා. ඒ වැඩි වර්ෂාපතනය නිසාම වැසි වතුරෙන් මේ පාර වැසී යනවා. නමුත් එදා වැසි වතුර විසිරී යන්නේ කුඹුරු වෙල් වගුරු බිම් තිබුණ නිසා විසිරී ගියා. අද තරම් වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් ආවේ නැහැ. අද එහෙම නෙවෙයි සියලු ඒ බිම් ගොඩ වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ගොඩ වෙලා තියෙන නිසා මේ වැසි වතුර ප්‍රමාණය වැඩියෙන් පේනවා. දැන් අපේ එදා ධනිෂ්ක් නම් යට උනේ වතුරේ අද උකුල දක්වා යට වෙන තත්ත්වෙක තියෙනවා. ජනගහනය වැඩි වීම, ඉඩම් ගොඩ වීම, ජල මාර්ග අවහිර වීම මේවට හේතු
Yes, they showed about this video, and so they told me that the Colonel Marsh now has various problems, such as the sound of the marsh is now highly populated compared to the old day. So that made us feel more realistic by listening to people who knew the past situation. And after this presentation, so we had a discussion. So I asked the participants answer the questionnaire before the session. So I asked what do you think is necessary for youth take leadership in the wetland? Of these things is the content, and the participants take a priority. So blue one is the first priority, and the purple one is the fifth priorities. So among them, so picked up 5 from one of the participants thought important. So that is the top 5 of the participants thought important. So some participants thought that so knowledge is important first, and someone thought that so the passion advanced the conservation of the wetlands. So I said that this theme discussion from these top 5. So I said the 2 discussion themes. One of that is how to create the connection. How to create a connection where the passionate youth can share their knowledge and experience. And the other is how youth wetlands group can effectively share wetlands conservation's idea. In discussion, the such idea was born. So there are many implemental opinion. So one of that is so Ramsar for kids, the first school, wetland school, the classroom in the river. So alternative school for wetlands what they can learn a lot. The seminar or symposium like AWS is really helpful the effective platform to share knowledge and experience. And on the other discussion, make use the personal hobbies that contribute to the environment conservation activities and to help in raising awareness about wetlands, photography, videography, and so on. And other idea is holding a photo contest using old photograph like this session. So many people of all ages can involve that. And then after receiving this presentation, discussion, and after finished the discussion, I made that. So I'd like to introduce one image to you. So this image was summarizing the keywords used in the youth session. So it was not created by the older participants, but it is a good understanding the contents of this youth session. Please try to connect the keyword in your mind. So it's very interesting. And finally, I will give it will be summarized that throughout this session, we, the youth generation, focused on both the horizontal axis of time and the vertical axis of generation. So the Ramsar Convention is a basis activities in wetlands, and the AWS 2017 focused on the activities of the youth generation. Based on these things, the discussion in this session made us realize the importance of knowledge and experience between the generations. So sharing knowledge and experience between generations for the wetlands in the future. So this is the voice of youth. Thank you very much.
Parallel sessions, we are privileged to have the Executive Director of the National Geographic Society, Asia, Mr. Jay Lee, who will brief us about their recent work on wetlands in the region. Mr. Lee, please.
National Geographic Society. I'm very sorry to having some delay to start because I'm just setting up some of my presentation deck. So let me just go over the one quick video together.
Okay, release.
Person can make a difference. The world needs a lot more conservationists and a lot more scientists.
We think we know this place, but we don't. We think we understand how things work, but we don't. That's why exploration is so fundamentally important.
It's about telling a story that resonates with all sorts of people all over the world.
Charles, it's the elation that you get by saving a life.
Dude, you're not that much over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I can't feel my fingers. It doesn't matter how my face stings and feels like it's getting sandblasted. It matters that somebody else can feel that by looking at a picture.
The most important message is that every individual matters, and every individual makes a difference every day.
All right, so I missed to start with this one photograph that I took about 3 or 4 years ago in Saga. I remember most of the people I met probably some of you are attended this, Asia Wetlands, Symposium in Japan. That was my first experience in encountering a lot of experts and conservationists and NGOs and, across Asia. And that's the beginning for me to joining NetGeo 5 or 6 years ago, and then finally met all the colleagues there. And since then, I work with many, experts and leaders across Asia to organize several capacity buildings and citizen science, and meeting our, explorers in the region. That was wonderful, and I'd like to really continue to engage with the Ramsar, the networks across Asia, because there's a huge overlap in the conservation side of the work that we support. So many of you maybe first know National Geographic as a storytelling media outlets, including a magazine and television channels and some brand and activities, live shows. But we reach about 10% of total population of the world, and there's 300 million people following us in the social media space. Nevertheless, we were founded about 3 years ago in Washington, D.C., next to the White House, where there's a lot of lackness of the geographic knowledge and also what's out there. And then eventually we became like a nonprofit foundation for grant making, also empowering, teaching, sharing all the stories people made for the conservations and protection of our planet. So these are the kind of, one quick slide over the 130 years. We granted about 15,000 grants to all the citizens and residents across the, globe. And also, amount of grant is very pure research grant or conservation fieldwork grant. So people can really help this money to continue their journey or explorations. And these are our asset, the explorer itself, the people, because we invest in people, not the system, not the organization, just the people is the key role to change, make the great law to change. So we call it as an explorer in the old fashioned, but right now is a scientist, engineers, entrepreneurs, educators, and storytellers like a journalist or conservationist in all the field of the research and fundamental and basic science as well. And I'm very proud to share that since I joined, we increased the number of 61% of the Asian or someone living in Asia as our explorers. So these are the spotlight like 2 years ago in history, but let me go through this video.
Since 1950, the world has produced 8.3 billion tons of plastic. With support from the local people, local government, and National Geographic, we discover even more.
In the last decade, the haphazard urbanization of Nepal has turned the country into a serious downstream pollution threat.
It's a huge problem. It's a very complex issue, and it's something that needs many different aspects to solve this problem.
Being part of this festival has given me access to amazing people who are doing some amazing on-ground work in their own countries. I was really inspired by listening to the stories of how they're contributing towards serving and saving the nature.
The National Geographic community is so unique because we can bring storytelling and research together and reach a really wide audience.
Big one.
My name is Kriti Khan.
My name is Bharat Sundaram.
My name is Narila Pinchaya.
My name is Sandesh Kadur.
My name is Naomi Clark-Shen.
My name is Sarah Bulush. My name is Amber Ajani, and I'm a National Geographic Explorer.
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 National Geographic, inspiring the explorer in everyone.
So over the past 6 years, not only increasing the number of our explorers in the field, but also we have engaged with a lot of activities and community capacity building and gathering and meetups across Asia. I'm sure you missed all the time that we have met in-person conventions like, social, symposium and conference and convention, but I'm pretty sure we will come back to that, moment. But proudly, these are, if you see the diversity and equity and inclusion across the Asia, no matter they're living in a very harsh environment or very, metropolitan areas, we really connect to people. So we can really emphasize and become a megaphone to elevate those talent across Asia, not only in Asia, but also for the global. So still we have a very simple single goal, which is 30% protection by 2030 in the mountain, rainforest, and ocean. We never really talk about wetland. However, wetland is we call it as a biodiversity hotspot, where all the species and creatures live together in the environmental conservation areas, protected areas. And this happened last year. So we almost shut down. I'm sure that your organizations, your networks also are shut down for a while. Still, we are struggling with the COVID-19. So we changed the grant as a temporary and transitional period. We fund an emergency fund for our explorers, or somebody who applied for the grant to continue their journey, or as an educator and storyteller and conservation side of the work. So these are the dots. I mean, there's more than 20,000 applications. We select a few thousand. However, we continue to fund these small grants so that they can make the money for their living even, but continue to, not stopping their endeavors. So these are the framework that we did in the second quarter of this year. We only support a few thousand, but in the quarterly. But if you see the number, there's a 15% of over is in Asia. I'm very proud that there's a lot of limitations and constraints that these people in the conservation side struggle with their life, their families, and their living conditions. So we continue to fund this. And finally, I have 2 more slides, and these are the data-driven conservation I mentioned 2 years ago in a Ramsar workshop in Suncheon. Because lots of people are talking about data, but in the commercial world, but we also, as a scientist, should focus on what's the actual data tells us the new knowledge and new extension of our endeavors, such as this is plastic pollutions. I mean, you can scale down to 10 meters resolution from the satellite image where the wastes are and came from and where it goes. So we can talk about it. Right now, this is the more wetland-driven conservation data, where the more like a delta of the river side is how they affected by the waters and the flood and the species. It's not talking about the species because it's a satellite image, but you can really track the history, the changes of the earth. So that's kind of very interesting. And we have a project called Earth Pulse, as analyzing all the satellite imagery with the AI algorithm, artificial intelligence. We have also a spin-off company called the Impact Observatory, which has been more directly related to the computer-related IT industry right now. But hopefully some of your region or your network can use this kind of technology to visualize more vividly with the actual data. So same thing from you guys. We really focused on the fewer, bigger, better for the next years even. We call it as a National Geographic Next. We really restructure our programs and grant and people internally and externally, and trying to see what else we can do beyond the post-COVID-19. And one of the things that I just accomplished this year in this first half of this year is that we are launching new physical space called Explorer Hub in Jeju Island, which is very close to South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, and also China in the East Asia region. So hopefully we can have some of the activities there. with our staff is called a research associate. By the way, we are recruiting right now, hiring new research associate for this region. And then it could be a hub for all the explorers and all the organizations come together with some funding and donation we acquire. So hopefully we can see you guys again in Jeju sooner or later. Thanks, Norman. I skipped like 2 minutes, but if you have any questions, I can take it.
Thank you, Mr. J. So probably you can accommodate 1 or 2 questions from the participants. So if you have some comments or reactions, you can ask Mr. J through the chat, send it through the chat function.
All right, so this is just the beginning of today's session for this symposium. So if I raise more issue, then please just stay tuned because we are coming back to the normal, and we will organize several in-person activities based out of Jeju Island in this fall. Even we start to make some hybrid like in-person and virtual event, and we really reach out to you guys, like capacity building event or any kind of grant making event as well. So please tune, and then I will collect some of your contact information to spread the word out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. J, for your very informative presentation.
Thank you, Norman.
Yeah, we hope more wetland advocates support your work. Let us start the event with a keynote presentation about wetland education for teenagers to be delivered by Dr. Chen Kelin, Director of the International Wetlands and River Beijing. Dr. Chen, you may take the floor, please.
Let's start. First of all, very good to meet all of you for this Asian Wetland Symposium. I'm quite happy to be attend this the workshop and to share our experience on the wetlands education for teenagers and China Wetland School Network. So this is today I want to be show and share with all of you. First of all, we started these activities in a long time ago. They called the Wetlands Week Initiative, initiated by the Ramsar Center Japan. And from 2002 and 2004, Asian Wetlands Week, we call AWW, celebrating event, children and wetlands, has been organized jointly by ICG, the former WI China, now we call the RWRB, and Wetlands Korea, with the finance support by GFGE. December 2004, the Wetlands Week was held in Dafeng City, Dafeng, Jiangsu province in China. So Dafeng number 4 middle school was designated as the Wetlands experimental school by the RWRB, the first wetland school in China. So this is in the December 2004. We have a number of the activities will be held, and you can see some of the photos. In Dafeng, Jiangsu, we had celebrate about this the wetland school. And also we had give the a board, which is this school we bought. You can see from this picture is Rico Nakamura and also Musa-san, Professor Ju. We had also a very interesting activity, which is we are as a group from 3 nations to be built there to green the tree. We call this a friendship tree. You see, this is the Professor Wu Xinli and others. We are together to build this, to grow this tree. The children are enjoying wetlands, and especially for the birds. And also we had a workshop in the same time. So from 2005 to 2015, this followed 10 years, we had a number of the projects was organized by ICG, Wetlands Korea, and RRB, and later on, WI Japan, supported by GFGE. The most schools joined the Wetland School. Projects, which is the China, Japan, Korea Wetland School Program, which is 2005 and 2007. The Wetland School Network Program popularized in Asian countries around the East Asia, Australasian migratory birds flyway from 2008 and 2010. So in the following activities in the different places we has been organized. In 2005, the Heilongjiang Natural Reserve we organized activities, which is we called it the 4th Asian Wetlands Week Celebrate event. Dalu Middle School in Qiqihar City, they was designated as a wetlands experimental school, and around about the activities being headed in the same time. And also in 2006, we hold this. We had this projects at the Wetlands School called the 5 Asian Wetlands Week Celebrate event in Lanzhou, Gansu Province. So in the Lanzhou Shuicheyuan Primary School was named as Wetlands Experimental School. Also in those children included the Korean children and Japanese are together to be organized activity around the Yellow River. So, and you can see this picture as well. Again, 2007, in Ningxia, in Jiangxi, Nanchang Peiyang Lake, we organize activities. The children, they are dancing with for the water birds, and also doing some bird watching, and also offer this the wetlands school the board. So again, 2008, we are in the Asian Wetland Week. We celebrate 5 schools was named in the Wetlands Experimental School in Zhanjiang, Guangdong Province. You can see a lot of the activities we are doing with plantation trees in mangroves. And we had very good celebrating in the Guangdong Province. 5 schools received the board of the name of the Wetland School. 2009, during the 13th World Lake Conference, so Wetland School Exchange event in Wuhan, 2 schools was established as a Wetlands Experimental School. Wuhan Huazhongli Primary School and Honghu #1 Primary School. So this is it was very interesting meeting because the World Lake Conference so big, so many the participants attended this workshop. During this conference, Wetlands School has been organized side events. We received quite a VIPs to be attending of the children's the side events. So, and also in the same time in 2009, in the Krabi, Thailand, we Wetland School network exchange event being in there in Krabi. So quite a lot of school, which is a multi-school school become the wetland school. This is, I think that is we are very lucky. The Krabi, the one school is joined up a wetland school, and the children are from different countries are coming together for the doing some activities in the field. And also in 2010, in December, we had set up the Wetland School Network Committee in Dauphin City, and we are also designated by the 6th Prominent School were named as the Wetlands Expenditure School. So you can see that we have a committee, the network committee, Wetlands Network Committee has been set up in 2010, and also people are celebrate, and also we give a lot of the teachers about the award, and the children joy about long slogan about how the conservation of wetlands, and we will plantation the friendship tree. So and again, and from the 2011 March, we organize Chinese the students and teachers to visit Malaysia in Senegal, Sabah. So there are quite a lot of students from Japan, Korea, China, also I believe from also some of them from Bangladesh, to be coming together for the whole big group to be doing some activities, learning the knowledge from wetlands, and they are received very good training from. Okay, so now from 2015, we organized in the Fujian province in Quanzhou City. So the Taiwanese are invited to be join these the Wetlands School Network. So Professor Chen from Taiwan to join us for this meeting in Fujian. So and also again 2016. We organized activity in Shandong province, Qingdao city. Quite of the school has been joined us. In the same year, the Korea in Anshan, they had a meeting in Anshan city. So many people also you can see the city mayor join our children's event with Korea, Japanese, and Chinese. Again, 2016, Shandong Qingdao, we organized activities. Natori-san, Musa-san, and also Professor Ju all are invited to be attending of this workshop. In 2017, in Anhui, Anqing City. So and similar, and 2018 in Hangzhou. Hangzhou, we organized event, and also in the 2 years ago, 2019 was in the meeting was had in the Haikou. I think more than 10 Koreans were coming. During the meeting, we had a round table, although the table is small, but round table dialogue from 3 nations, China, Japan, Korea. We discussed about wetlands, conservations, and also 2 guys received the award from a wetland school committee, which you can see the Rekamas, and also Professor Zhu. And also three Chinese received the award from this committee. And during this meeting on the HECO, they have a HECO initiative to be adopted by these children and by the schools. And last year, 2020, the COVID-19 is spread. So even those serious problem, we still hold some activity. In May 28th, we have the new school, which is in the Gansu, Gangye City. You can see we have a new school with a new museum, natural museum, connect with the Wetlands Park. So this is one. Secondly, in August, we organized the training course for the teachers in Zhanjiang City. More than 60 teachers are from different schools in the Zhanjiang City are receiving the training, and the training course was very successful. Apart from this, the Wetland School network has been spent about nearly 3 years to develop a guide for the building wetland school. Published in August 2019, covered the wetland school concept, steps of the establish, and the teaching method, curriculum development, education strategy, evaluation, etc. So if you want to be the wetland school, you must have an initial condition in following. School must be willing to be active for the wetlands education activities. That means no need to other the pushes from outside. You must be willing yourself. This first. Secondly, education authority of the local government must be support later. So must be issued support later to be this school, to be a wetland school. Third one is National Conservation Authority supporting later are needed, such as the natural reserve or wetlands park. If you have these three conditions, and you will be joined this wetland school. Up to the end of the June, just last month, totally in China, we have 106 wetland school has been joined the network. So this is the quite number of the wetland school. They're covering 18 provinces and 35 cities. So, and 5-year strategy, we are now making, which is a 5-year development strategy for the wetland school network is being developed and will be released on the 2021 annual meeting to be held in Dongying City, Shandong province later of this year. The strategy outline will be direction of the wetland school in 8 areas. In general goal, to promote the formulation of the wetland ecological conservation awareness among the teenagers and the general public in China, cultivate their understanding of wetlands, and then they develop their skill to solve wetlands problem, and establish ecological values of the wetlands conservation, etc. So this is our 5-year plan, and also strategic positioning, popularizing wetlands knowledge, priority of education resources, and stimulating interesting of students. The initial plan to be built 10 wetland schools each year and 50 wetland schools in 5 years from 2021 to 2025. It's divided into 3 levels: kindergartens, primary school, and middle school. According to the school at a different level, wetlands ecological education should be done respectively. Wetland school does not adopt to one size fits all the mode, full play to the This year, we are going to organize about annual meeting of the Wetlands School, and the support both by the Ramsar Center, Ramsar Center in Korea, and also Chinese local government of the Dongyin City will be the finance support for us to organize meeting later this year. So we will discuss more detail later about how we will achieve our goal, and also how to guard to the school for them to develop their curriculum, and for them to bring the children how they are interesting about wetlands conservation. So good news is that is the Chinese government is very encourage all the people, including the students, to give high attention about the ecological system conservation issues. So that is a very good opportunity for us to be organizing more activity in the future. So, and this is one thing. Another thing that we really, in the past, nearly 18 years, we had very close relationship with Korea and Japan. So we want be a further development of the collaboration in the Northeast Asia, and also include the Southeast Asia and other nations. So we'll be joined together. So, and we all realize currently the problem is COVID-19 is still there. So it's limited our activities, but we will try our best. So, and we would really like to share experience to all of the friends. This is my final conclusion, my PPT. Thank you very much. Hello.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chen, for your presentation. We are confident that the Wetland School Network will further expand to include more schools in Asia. So big hand to Dr. Chen. I think we can accommodate a few questions if the participants still have some clarifications or reactions or comments that you want to share. So please do, if you have questions or comments, please write it down in the chat box.
One question I received from the Vishnu. He wants to know what is if that is for the veteran school, is that is the extra work for the school. But actually, from my understanding, this is not extra for the school, because school students are learning many things, many courses. For main courses still there, but apart from main courses, they are encouraged to be learning other area in terms of their interesting. So that means at the moment, many students, school, and also many parents of the children, they really want to be their children to learn about the environment conservation issues. Otherwise, the school, if they can guide the students to be learn something, and out of the main curriculum. So that means the students can the choice whatever they want to learn. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. I think we still have one question from Mr. Rafiq from Bangladesh. Do you have any plans of further expanding the wetland school program to other countries?
Yeah, this is a very, at the moment is very difficult because you know, all of us cannot be allowed to overseas. But what I think it's good opportunity for us furthermore to develop our plan for the other countries. We have already done something through from Northeast Asia to the Southeast Asia, like Thailand, Malaysia. But in the future, we thought we will develop more for the South Asia, like the Bangladesh and the India. That's no problem. So we can do that. So the first issue at the moment we should know about the COVID-19, and then we will welcome the friends and other teachers from other countries to join us for our activities in China. And then we also can go overseas to visit your country we will work together as before we did. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chen.
Thank you.